Look around you. Half the men you know are exhausted, not from working hard, but from fighting battles they were never going to win. Trying to control people, control outcomes, control timing, and it's making them weak. Why the need for control is quietly destroying your mind, and the exact Stoic shift that turns that same energy into calm, unshakable confidence. Somewhere along the way, you got sold a lie. The lie says, if you want something bad enough, if you push hard enough, if you grip tight enough, you can force life to bend to your will. So you grip. You grip the outcome of the meeting. You grip whether she texts back. You grip the timeline for the promotion you think you deserve. You grip the market, the traffic, the weather, your kids' grades, your buddy's opinion of you. And here's the part nobody tells you. Gripping doesn't make you powerful. It makes you fragile. Because now your peace of mind is hostage to 100 things you don't control. That's not strength. That's a man who's handed the keys to his own mind to everything and everyone around him. Marcus Aurelius sat at the head of the Roman Empire. Plagues, wars, betrayal from men he trusted, and he wrote himself one brutal reminder over and over: some things are up to me and some things are not. He didn't write that as a comforting bedtime thought. He wrote it as a weapon, a filter. Every single day he ran his problems through it. You want that filter, because right now, without it, you're burning energy on things that don't even belong to you. Here's the mistake almost every driven man makes, and it's subtle. He confuses effort with desperation. Effort looks like this. You train, you work, you show up, you do the work in front of you, and you let the result land where it lands. Desperation looks almost identical from the outside. Same hours, same hustle. But underneath it, there's a different engine running. I need this to work out or I'm not okay. That's the difference between a man who competes and a man who's begging. Same actions, completely different nervous system. And here's why it matters. Desperation leaks. People feel it. The client feels it in the pitch. The woman feels it in the first date. The room feels it when you walk in needing their approval instead of just bringing value and letting them decide. Seneca called this out directly. He said a man ties himself in knots chasing things he was never guaranteed and calls that ambition, when really it's just fear wearing a nicer outfit. You don't fix desperation by trying harder. You fix it by cutting the wire between your effort and your need for a specific outcome. That's not weakness. That's where real power starts. Here's the whole framework in one line. Control what's yours, release what isn't, and stop pretending those two things are the same thing. What's yours? Your effort, your discipline, your reactions, your character, your honesty, how you train your body, how you speak to people, whether you show up prepared. What isn't yours? How people respond to you, whether the deal closes, whether she likes you back, whether your boss recognizes your work, the traffic, the economy, other men's opinions of you. Epictetus, a man who was literally born a slave, beaten, and still built one of the most disciplined minds in history, said it plainly: some things are within our power and some are not. Our own actions are within our power. Everything else, other people's actions, outcomes, timing, that's not up to us. Confuse the two, he said, and you'll spend your whole life in frustration, blaming other men for your own suffering. That's not a soft idea. That's a battle-tested survival mechanism from a man who had every reason to be bitter and chose discipline instead. So when you feel that itch to force something, a deal, a relationship, a result, stop and ask one question. Is this actually mine to control, or am I trying to grip smoke? Do the work. Release the grip. That's the whole method. Let's get honest about what's underneath all this control-seeking, because most men never look at it directly. It's not really the outcome you're scared of. It's what the outcome means about you. If she doesn't text back, it's not really about her. It's the fear that you're not enough. If the deal falls through, it's not the money. It's the fear that you're falling behind other men. If your kid struggles in school, it's not really about the grade. It's the fear that you're failing as a father. You're not anxious about the event. You're anxious about the story you've attached to the event. This is the core Stoic insight, and it's not comfortable. It's not what happens to you, it's the meaning you assign to it. Your body doesn't know the difference between "the deal fell through" and "I am inadequate." It reacts the same: tight chest, short temper, sleepless nights, because you fused the two together. Separate them. The deal falling through is data. "I am inadequate" is a story you're choosing to tell yourself, and you can choose a different one. This single shift, separating the event from the meaning, is what lets a man take a loss on the chin and get back up the next morning instead of spiraling for a week. You're probably thinking one of two things right now, and I want to hit both directly. This sounds like an excuse to stop trying? No. Read it again. The framework says do your part with full intensity, train harder, work harder, show up more prepared than the next man. The release isn't from effort, it's from the outcome. You go all in on what's yours and let go of what isn't. That's not laziness, that's precision. You stop wasting energy on things you can't move and put all of it into things you can. This sounds like coldness, like not caring. Also, no. A man who's detached from outcomes isn't a man who doesn't care. He's a man who cares enough to act with full commitment without needing the universe to owe him a specific result in return. That's not indifference, that's maturity. The weak version of not caring is apathy. The strong version is discipline. Don't confuse the two. Marcus Aurelius ran an empire through plague and war. He cared plenty, but he didn't collapse when Rome didn't cooperate with his plans, because his peace was never staked on Rome cooperating in the first place. The archer. An archer trains for years. He perfects his stance, his breath, his aim. He releases the arrow with everything he has. But once it leaves the bow, the wind, the target, all of it is out of his hands. A wise archer doesn't chase the arrow through the air trying to steer it. He trained, he released, he's already resetting for the next shot. That's you. Train, release, reset. The dog tied to the cart. The old Stoics used this one constantly. Imagine a cart moving forward no matter what. A dog is tied to the back of it by a rope. The dog has two options: run alongside the cart calmly, or fight the rope the whole way and get dragged, choking and exhausted. The cart is life. It's moving whether you fight it or not. Your choice is whether you walk with it or get dragged by it. Pain is training, not punishment. Every man who's serious about the gym knows this already. The burn in your legs on the last set isn't your enemy. It's the mechanism building you into someone stronger. Stoics apply the same logic to hardship. A setback isn't proof life is against you. It's resistance training for your mind. You don't get calm and unshakable by avoiding friction. You get there by lifting it, rep after rep, situation after situation. Picture a man, we'll call him Dan, mid-30s, runs his own small business. For 2 years, he chased one specific outcome: land a contract with a company he considered his big break. He rehearsed the pitch until 2 a.m. He tied his entire sense of worth to whether this one client said yes, the client said no, twice. Dan spiraled. Not because the business couldn't survive without it, it could, but because he'd made this one outcome the measuring stick for his entire identity as a man. He was short with his wife, distant with his kids, snapping at employees over nothing. What changed wasn't the client, it was Dan. He finally separated the two questions. Did I prepare and pitch with everything I had? Yes, that part was his. Did the client say yes? Not his. Never was. The next pitch he walked in without the desperation leaking out of every word. Not because he cared less, he cared exactly as much, but because his peace wasn't riding on their decision anymore. He got the deal, but even if he hadn't, he'd have walked out the same man, because his identity was no longer for rent to other people's decisions. That's the whole shift in one story. Same effort, different grip. Here's the part that surprises men the most. Releasing your grip on outcomes doesn't make you softer, it makes you sharper. When your mind isn't burning fuel on fear of a specific result, that fuel goes somewhere else, into precision, into reading the room, into making the smart adjustment instead of the desperate one. A man negotiating from need makes worse decisions than a man negotiating from calm. A man dating from need comes across weaker than a man dating from abundance. A man leading a team from anxiety creates anxious employees. A man leading from grounded confidence creates a team that trusts him. This isn't a soft mindset trick, it's tactical. Calm is a competitive advantage. The man who doesn't need the outcome negotiates the hardest, because he's the only one in the room who can actually walk away. You don't need a philosophy degree to run this. You need 3 moves, repeated daily. Move 1, the morning filter. Before you start your day, name one thing you're trying to control that isn't yours. Say it plainly in your head. I do not control whether he responds well, I control how I show up. Do this every morning until it's automatic. Move 2, the pause before reaction. Something goes wrong. Before you react, ask, is this in my control? If yes, act immediately with full effort. If no, release it out loud if you have to, and move to the next thing that's actually yours. Move 3, the nightly account. At the end of the day, don't ask, did everything go my way? Ask, did I do my part with full effort and integrity, regardless of how it landed? If yes, that's a win, full stop. The outcome is a separate conversation. Run these 3 moves for 30 days, and something shifts. You stop reacting to every small thing like it's a threat to your survival. You start moving through your day like a man who's already decided he can handle whatever shows up. Because he can. Picture the calmest man you know. Not passive, not a pushover. The one who doesn't flinch when things go sideways. The one other men trust in a crisis because he doesn't panic. That man isn't calm because nothing bad happens to him. He's calm because he stopped fighting the things that were never his to fight and put all his strength into the things that were. That's not a personality trait some men are born with. It's a discipline. It's built the same way you build strength in the gym. 1 rep, 1 decision, 1 day at a time, choosing to do your part and let the rest go. Confidence isn't believing everything will go exactly as you want. Confidence is knowing you'll be fine no matter which way it goes, because your worth was never staked on the outcome to begin with. So here's the question for you. What's the one thing right now that you're gripping, trying to force, trying to control, that was never yours to control in the first place? Say it in the comments. Be specific, not my life, the actual thing. If you want more of this, real Stoic discipline, no fluff, built for men who are done being controlled by things outside their power, subscribe. This channel exists to build men who are calm, sharp, and unshakable. Do your part, let the rest go. See you in the next one.